Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel, OG Star Wars. And if you haven't been following Celebration like I have, you may not know that Maul is returning with a brand new show called Shadow Lord. Now, when I first seen this advertised and shared across social medias and even on the Star Wars live stream for Celebration or Celebration, when I seen the title of this Shadow Lord, it reminded me of Shadow Hunter. Now, it's not another use of an old title or what have you. However, it did give me the vibes. Now, this show is going to be between Revenge of the Sith and Rebels. And there's a lot of questions that I have about this regarding continuity and lore that is happening in Disney Star Wars versus what had happened before under George Lucas. And we know that George Lucas, he brought Maul back under TCW with Filoni. And during that time, I did not agree with that either. So I still don't agree with Maul continuing to live. We know that in Rebels, he died. He was killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi. And during that time in Rebels, his demeanor and his character arc was all about finding Obi-Wan Kenobi to seek revenge. And in TCW, we've seen him get cucked or basically turned into this big loser by being defeated by even a Padawan, Ahsoka. And so his character really went downhill when it came to being a villain. And now when you look at the trailer, and I'm only going to show a portion of this trailer here, but when you look at the trailer that was leaked across social media, he is this badass guy who now is doing this organized crime. We do see that later on in Disney Star Wars as well. But there's this huge disconnect of this character being someone who wants to go seek revenge and is basically beaten by everybody, but still can survive. Kind of odd, right? To now being this Shadow Lord. And again, it reminds me of Shadow Hunter. However, Shadow Hunter, is before the Phantom Menace and right around the time of the Darth Plagueis novel. Darth Plagueis stretches out in a certain time frame. If you haven't read it, then I recommend checking it out. So Maul here, he returns, and then he also returns with searching for and wanting to train a red Twi'lek. Yep. And if you know George Lucas's treatments, he wrote about 3 treatments as negotiation for Disney when Iger was basically wooing him on the selling of Lucasfilm. And one of his treatments he shared in the archives, and that's regarding the time frame after Endor or Return of the Jedi. And in that, he has 2 new villains. One is Darth Maul, because of course he survived. And then he also is very interested in the lore, and he's read the comics. I'm talking about George Lucas. And he brought in Darth Talon. Now, treatments, I have reiterated this so many damn times, but treatments are just ideas. Doesn't mean that they're going to happen, and doesn't mean that the person who wrote these ideas are going to do them. In fact, many times George Lucas has said repeatedly, even though he's contradicted himself so many damn times, but he has been consistent about saying he was never going to create sequel trilogy. Now, he wrote treatments for Disney to sell as a selling bargain here, so they have something to work with. But even in the 2018-19 interview with James Cameron, he basically says what he planned on doing for the next films for himself was about the wills. There was no sequel trilogy. You can find him saying this repeatedly throughout time. And even when you look back at him talking about the episodic films that he was creating, he thought he was going to create 12. Then it ended up being 9. And after he was done with the 6, he realized, and he had mentioned that he told the story within 6 episodes or 6 films. And he always said that he never was going to do anything after Return of the Jedi. And that's why he's never restricted the authors to expand or explore and create more stories in that time frame. However, he has restricted the PT era because he wanted to open up that time frame, right? So now going back to Maul, going back to this announcement, I am going to share. Let me see if I can bring it up. There we go. I'm going to share this right here. Now, this is just the announcement here from Disney Lucasfilm here. In Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord, the former Sith returns. And this is during the 20th anniversary of Lucasfilm Animation. However, Lucasfilm Animation was established in 2003, not 2005. And it just brief description, about Maul returning. Sam Witwer is gonna reprise the role or the voice for Maul. And everybody's super excited about that, right? Everybody's super excited. And it's called Shadow Lord. Again, reminds me of Shadowhunter, which is a different time frame altogether. So let's take a look at this here. So I have here's Shadowhunter, the novel. It's a novel that was recommended to me to read because I really wasn't too into Maul. Wasn't a villain that I cared for. I understood his plot, how he needed to be for Obi-Wan and Anakin to come together as Padawan and Master. He served his purpose. That's why I don't agree with him surviving after the Phantom Menace. However, Shadowhunter is what got me further into his character arc and maybe interested in him. But this was, again, pre-episode 1. And then later on, we talked about the treatments that I mentioned. And here's the concept art from the game. There was a game that George decided to take that idea of Maul and Talon together, and he was having it turned into a game called The Battle of the Sith. And this was then recorrected for continuity purposes so that, they don't go out of continuity with the lore, the storytelling, what have you. And George agreed to keep continuity. So Maul was either going to be a clone of himself or it was going to be a descendant of him. That was never fully established because LucasArts and basically Lucasfilm underwent the purchase and dismantling. So Disney bought Lucasfilm and LucasArts was basically dismantled. So the story never went past its development stages. George did read the comics. That's why he knew who Darth Talon was. And Legacy is an awesome story. I highly recommend it. So now we see here, and I'm going to share with you the film, a little clip of behind the scenes from there and the trailer to this. So here is the character that he is searching for in Shadow Lord, a red Twi'lek. No tattoos, nothing there whatsoever. And again, this is between Revenge of the Sith and Rebels, right? Now, my question again, where is she during the time frame of Rebels, like after he died, or even when he's looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, or any of the stories there leading up even towards the OT era? Where is this apprentice that he trained, right? So then it has a lot of continuity questions and issues that needs to be addressed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video, the clip that I have. So here is part of the teaser trailer that was shared at Shilibration. So what do you think? Do you think that her name is going to be Talon, Darth Talon? Do you think this is actually going to be her? I have seen many people comment on this revelation about Talon being included in this time frame here between Revenge of the Sith and Rebels. Again, questioning where is she afterwards, right? And they're saying, oh, it's in honor of the treatment that George did. And then I'm thinking, okay, so if it's in honor of, then why isn't this in the time period where he said it as when he gave it to Disney or sold this treatment to Disney? So what do you think about all of this here? And do you think that Disney is going bankrupt? So they're just pulling from these past stories and these past ideas that George Lucas did. Do you think that they are hoping that this will bring back the longtime fans and appease everybody, because maybe they feel or see that the direction that they have taken Star Wars or Lucasfilm is not feasible and correct, I guess you could say. That's not the right word I'm trying to find, but you know what I mean. And it's not the right direction, basically. What do you think about this? So please leave a comment below. What do you think about Shadow Lord? Do you think that they're trying to copy the title of Shadow Hunter? Do you think that they're trying to appeal to authority and use George Lucas ideas and stuff like that to bring back the longtime fans? And as a longtime fan, are you going to fall for this? Because I'm not. You know, they did away, they tossed the expanded universe for creative freedom, and they wanted to create their own stories, and they're not. They're rehashing, they're still continuing to stay in certain timelines, and hardly any creative process. And when they do something different, it's not appealing to fans, only to a certain small sect of fans. So again, let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and have a good day, and may the force be with you.